Hello and welcome back to the End User Reports. Again, my name is Clarence alongside Jamal. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Blackberry OS 6. RIM recently released this back on August 12th. Just to really briefly go over some of the features, one of the big things that it is going to have is a version of the WebKit browser. This is actually the same browser that the Droid and iPhone 4 use. It is still unclear whether or not it's going to support Flash, but they do say that it is going to allow you to do pinch and zoom. Also improve music syncing, better compatibility with iTunes, also allow you to sync wirelessly. Now, they also are going to extend Blackberry OS 6 not just to the Torch, but also to the Bold 9700 and 9650, and also the Pearl 3G. One of the things that I do personally like about this, Jamal, is the fluid AI, making it just a little bit easier to switch back and forth between the applications. What are your thoughts on the Blackberry OS
6? The OS 6 from Blackberry is actually a pretty darn good OS. Again, the problem is that what are you going to put it on? And they really don't have a really good phone to put the Blackberry OS 6 on. Come out with a phone with Snapdragon, at least 1 gigahertz. Come out with a phone that has maybe a front-facing camera. Then talk to me about the OS 6. But you're right, it does have the multi-touch browser interface, which is something like I mentioned earlier about the previous BlackBerry browsers. They were really crappy, and this one allows you to do pinch to zoom, which is really neat. I have a little quote-unquote quote from one of the CEO of Lazardus, and this is what he had to say about it. He said, "The biggest step forward for BlackBerry experiences in our history." And then he says, "It's novel yet not still instantly recognizable to anyone who's fallen in love with the BlackBerry experience." So they're trying to garner the new corner of the market. I believe that this OS is gonna try to take away that enterprise moniker away, because they included a lot of social media apps into it. They have this really cool feature which I kind of like. It's universal search. What it does, it allows you to search in your BlackBerry phone, your folders, apps, internet, and whatever else that you have to have it search for. So another thing too, it's a much better home screen. As anyone's had experience with BlackBerry phones, the home screens are less than we desired. This one actually has, if I can try to describe it, they have a bottom portion, kind of like similar to like a Droid X, where you can move, you can put your apps on the bottom, and then you have a middle portion, which is kind of like a widgets, where you can put widgets up there. Passive touch. So, I mean, what are your feelings in terms of this?
Well, my feelings on this, and again, as a BlackBerry owner, I might be a little bit biased, but the word right now is this is obviously going to be on the Torch, and it is going to also be forwarded to the BlackBerry Bold 9700 and the 9650 and the Pearl G3.
Which is a smart thing.
It is a smart thing. The word on the street is the OS is supposed to be more centered around touchscreen phones.
Okay.
But now, they were very specific on saying that this is something that is not going to be released for the BlackBerry Storm 1 or 2, which, if you have any experience with those phones, those are nothing but touchscreen phones.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense why they do that. And then the other issue is, I haven't really heard about this, is whether or not if the phone companies themselves will allow you to do the updates, who's going to do the updates? Will you be able to go to BlackBerry and run the updates yourself, or will you have to go like an example of something Droid phones where you have to wait for your phone carrier to give you the upgrade to the OS? So how would that go about? That's really the question. If it's BlackBerry says, hey, connect your phone to the computer, go to the BlackBerry website, update your phone, you're good to go. But I suspect that what's going to happen is with Sprint and with Verizon is you're going to go to the Sprint or Verizon store and maybe pay a fee or something of that matter to have them upgrade the phone, and then it'll have the Sprint or Verizon or T-Mobile or AT&T for that matter moniker on it, which in some case would put all that, I call it carrier crapware.
Yeah, the proprietary software,
Yeah.
which sounds frustrating for users. I went from the update, when I first got the phone, I had the OS 4, had to have the update for 5. I had to wait for Verizon to send me an email saying, hey, your update's out, go to this site to download it. Of course, I had to back up first because when I was done with the update, all my files were gone. So
Fun.
it is a bit frustrating. So that is definitely something to watch out for if you are a BlackBerry user.
So I was just reading a couple of initial reviews. Not really good on RIM's portion. Even though it is a refresh to the OS, a lot of people don't like it. They say it's slow. It's not as snappy as Android or iOS 4. Another thing that I mentioned earlier was the App Store. It sounds trivial, but I mean, you're going against Apple iTunes, which has 185,000 apps right now as we speak, against 6,000 apps that the BlackBerry has. I know a lot of BlackBerry users will say, well, the 6,000 apps are just the right amount of apps that I want. Maybe true, but I mean,
they have to be good apps too.
Exactly.
And the thing that I've always kind of felt about the BlackBerry App Store in particular is you'll see a Verizon commercial or you'll see an iPhone commercial saying that they have this app. You go and look for it, you can't find it. It is rather difficult to navigate through that, so it is frustrating for users to find. Not to mention, it seems like the apps come out after something comes out from one of those two companies. So you see something on TV, oh, that's really cool. I wonder if I can do that. And you go to the marketplace, and the answer is a big no.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, how long did it take for BlackBerry to come out with a Facebook app? I mean, there's something that was offered kind of almost on day one with iPhone, especially with 3GS. I think my final thoughts is that 2 million units were sold in November of 2009. 400,000 units were sold in February of 2010. I think that states it right clearly there. RIM is falling hard, and they need to do something about it. The hardware needs to be refreshed. I honestly think the Torch is nothing more than a bulb with a slide-out keyboard. They did do improvements on the OS. However, I think what their issue is that they don't have the bytes to put the OS on. What they need to do is get in touch with Samsung and have Samsung rebrand the Galaxy to RIM and put the OS on that.
Maybe. I mean, last week we did say RIM's in trouble. They needed to do something to survive in this marketplace. And looking at this OS and their equipment, I don't think this is it. So,
I think we kind of bashed RIM enough.
Yeah, I did. We did kind of put them in the graveyard last week. We did.
Just final notes. We're not writing off RIM. They're a company that's innovative, and I think that they'll find a way. I honestly think they just need a different design team. They're going from this enterprise market, which was successful for them for years, and they want to switch over to more of a consumer market, which would really, to be honest with you, Apple and Droid have a much a lead on. So how do you compete against that? How do you? And well, you can't compete by bringing out crappy phones and a OS.
Second-rate OSs, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But that about wraps it up for us here at the End User Report. You can always send us emails and comments to the End User Report at twcny.ri.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Again, that is under the End User Report. Please tune in to our next episode when we will discuss Hulu Plus and whether or not it's worth it.